Welcome to the Parent and Family Program Summer Content Series. This is really for any KSU parent family support system of our owls, but many of y'all have heard about this series during your recent family orientation, likely. We are so excited today to be hosting two amazing campus partners, KSU Campus Police and Office of Victim Services. So these two areas work a lot in tandem together. And so we want to, host, it just made a lot of sense to host them together, just to have a really good, conversation about how they work together, how they work separately, and really, at the end of the day, how they serve your students. So today I'm joined by Charles and Kelly, and I'm actually going to throw it over to them to further introduce themselves. So y'all take it away.
Thank you so much for having us, Sharon. So I'm Kelly Burks. I'm the Victim Services Coordinator for the Office of Victim Services here at KSU. Just a little bit about myself. I've worked in the field of victim advocacy for 15 years. I've been at KSU for about 5 years. I've just always had a passion for helping victims, and I think it's just an important resource to have in the community, particularly on college campuses, because oftentimes students don't know what to do or where to go after they experience something traumatic. And so that's what our office is here for.
Perfect.
Awesome. Like Kelly said, thanks, Sharon, for having us. My name is Charles Dickens, and I am a sergeant with Kennesaw State University Police Department. I am over in their community outreach unit. I've been in law enforcement now for 10 years, and I've been with KSU for 7. I've been on patrol probably a third of that time, and it seemed like the best relationships I built were the ones that I built when I had extra time to spend with people. So when this opportunity came along to do their community outreach, and I knew that I'd be able to take as much time as I wanted and not have to jump to another call, I took advantage of it, and here I am. So I love being able to do this work with y'all.
Yeah, well, families, just know you've got some great, I mean, I know we've had a lot of great conversations with a lot of great campus partners, but these guys are so personable and so helpful for our campus. And just like Charles said, I mean, these, we see these folks in the community, right? Like we see them everywhere. So we are thankful for their, first for their service, but also, for their, just like Charles said, just community efforts, just the heart for what they do. So, so thanks so much. And thanks for taking the time with our families today, helping us really just learn, more in-depth knowledge about each of your departments and services. And so, like I said, if those of y'all have, heard about our series from orientation, you have likely heard Charles in his presentation, but not not having had a chance to talk to Kelly as well. So it's great to be able to bring her into this conversation. So, all right. So to start us off, if each of you could, and we'll start with you, Kelly, start us off and give us an overview of your departments and really how y'all serve our student population at KSU.
Yeah, so just our office, the Office of Victim Services, it was established in 2014. We are actually one of the first campus victim advocacy programs in the state of Georgia. So we are staffed with 3 full-time advocates, and we are located on both campuses, Marietta and Kennesaw. We are unique because we're, well, I guess similar to the police department, but we are 24/7 as well. The majority of our clients that we see are students. However, we do serve faculty and staff as well, as long as they're KSU affiliated. And so our main purpose is to provide support and resources to those who are victims of any type of crime. And we're just here to empower them, give them their resources, and just, again, empower them to speak up and use their voices. So yeah, that's just a little bit about our office.
Perfect.
Yeah, and so as far as the police department goes, we provide the expected police services such as calls for service, and that is going to be our patrol teams, who are phenomenal. There's designated officers on both campuses, so we're fully staffed on the Marietta and the Kennesaw campus. We also have our security teams. They are really an integral part of us being able to get that quick response time as far as our officers are concerned, because they go out and handle any building unlocks and vehicle jump starts. We also have our communications center, which are the awesome people who answer any call that is placed to any one of our contact numbers. So I like to call it our little version of 911, just here for KSU. Additionally, within our department, we have the criminal investigations division. They further investigate any call that may have come in that maybe the officer couldn't finish up looking into all the details after the initial report was written. We have special operations division. Those are the folks that I say you can blame for the road being shut down during football. But no, they make sure all the logistics are handled to keep folks safe at any big events. So Atlanta United games, football games, graduations, and they also have our 2 bomb detection dogs that are here at our department. That's where they are housed. We have the Office of Emergency Management and, of course, the Office of Victim Services.
Man, what a group, what a crew, so much going on all the time. So wonderful things. And like I said, the main thing that I love about you guys with all the services that you provide our students, it really, my favorite thing is your passion and your heart for what you bring to your work every day serving our students, because our mission, students are the center of our universe, and that's why we're all here. So let's dig a little deeper into the specific services that your office provides our students. So if you guys will just kind of each take a little turn. That was a great overview, but I feel like there's a little bit more to learn from each of you. So tell us, break down your services just a little bit for us.
Yeah, so I'll go first. So we provide obviously a range of services. When students come to us, we will go over reporting options. We'll coordinate and arrange medical care, such as forensic medical exams, which is also same thing as a sexual assault exam, or pregnancy and STD testing. And usually we do this after someone reports a sexual assault to us. But we also assist with safety planning. We always want to make sure the students are safe. We assist with temporary protective orders, so we will transport students to and from court if they need it. And then we act as a liaison to just address any other concerns, whether it's academic or just other campus services. We work closely with Counseling and Psychological Services, Office of Institutional Equity, also known as the Title IX office, Care Services, and again, just any other campus partner. We kind of serve as a liaison for the students. And then, our main goal is to just provide the resources and just empower the students to make the best decision for their situation. So if, after they speak with us, they can decide, on their own whether or not they want to report or what route they want to take.
Great. Thank you, Kelly.
Yeah, and as we are very, like you said, it's all student centered, right? So we offer educational opportunities by request, such as presentations. If a professor or student group reaches out and they want us to come out and talk about a specific topic, or just talk like we're doing today about our department, so that their student groups are more aware of, the fact that we are here and we are here to provide them with services. And town halls. We've done town halls in the past too, to open it up to a larger group of individuals. We also have our internship program, which is available to our degree-seeking students, as well as our inclusive learning students. We offer our Citizens Police Academy, which is available to students, but also faculty, staff, and community members. And we also have RAD, which is our free self-defense class. So it is free to students, faculty, staff, and alumni. And I could talk forever about RAD, but I'll just say that, we are one of the few self-defense programs that has a free lifetime return policy, and we are international, which means no matter where you move, there's RAD programs available for you, and you'll always be able to go back to those for free for your entire life. So that's really, I love that part about our class, and that we also make it, it's situational based. It's not just, okay, we're going to teach you this and then you're going to leave. We're going to make sure that you understand when, how, and why those techniques that we're going to teach you can be applied. And the last 2 things that I just want to talk about real briefly, while they are available for our students, I think these are the ones that the parents tend to have gain the most peace of mind from. And those are that's our safety escorts, which means if a student is on campus and let's say they're at the library and they're studying later, or they're at one of their friends' dorm rooms across campus, they can give us a call if they don't feel safe walking back to their room, or their car, and we'll come out, we'll pick them up, and we'll give them a ride. Either our patrol officers will, or our security officers. And we get the question a lot, and I make sure I throw this in because I know when we have when our students are women, we tend to have additional concerns. So if a female student cares to request a female officer or security officer, there are female officers and or security officers available on all shifts. They can absolutely do that. There may be a little bit of a wait time if that officer's tied up, but of course they can do that. And the one thing that I want to stress with this is that it doesn't have to be late at night. There doesn't have to be, somebody, standing over lurking in the bushes, right? It doesn't have to be like some super, scary situation. It can be in the middle of the day. If that student doesn't feel comfortable walking back to where they need to go, it's not up for us to decide if they should feel comfortable. It's just up to us to make sure that we're providing the service to ensure that they do find that level of comfortability in that moment. And then the last thing is our wellness checks. So as parent, family, supporters, if someone is concerned about their student, maybe they haven't heard from their student in a few days, they can give us a call, and we will go out and we will check on their student for them and make sure that they're okay.
Yeah, that's one. I used to work in residence life and housing at here at KSU, and that was probably the number one thing that I feel like parents and families were like, "Wait a minute, so I could get them to come to my student's door to make sure they're okay." And it's like, yeah, you can. Now we can't tell you everything that from that interaction, but we can tell you that I put eyes on them. And I think one of my favorite officers, Sergeant or Lieutenant Haynes, she would always say, "I like that cell phone you got right there. Who paid for that?" And they're like, "My mom. You should probably call her on it."
That sounds like Lieutenant Haynes for sure. She's awesome.
Yeah. That's one of my greatest takeaways, because students, they just get in their world sometimes, and they and I think that's probably some of the fear that we have as parents is like, gosh, they're going to school, they're having a good time, I just want them to be aware, I want them to know who's there for them, I want them to be aware of their surroundings, and they just get caught up sometimes in being busy productive students. So anyways, that's one of my favorite takeaways is you should probably call your mom. So anyways, all right. Well, there is so much, thank y'all for sharing those things. There's so much that each of your offices do. So I just appreciate your leadership and service on campus. But transitioning a little bit, we know that students, reach out to each of you when something may have happened to them or someone close to them. So can you let us know, the procedures and options for reporting an incident to your departments?
Yeah, so the majority of our students are referred to us, usually by a campus partner, whether it's the police department, student health services, the counseling department, or the Office of Institutional Equity. But students can always report by contacting us directly on our phone at our phone number, which is 470-578-4257, or they can email us, which is ovs@kennesaw.edu. And then also on the website, they can submit a concern, whether they want to do it anonymously or, it's confidential. It's a confidential, report they can make on our website as well, which is at ovs.kennesaw.edu. But so there's, multiple ways that students can reach us if they need to report.
Yeah, and when you're talking about the police department, obviously, you can call us. So what I will say is that all of our information that I'll share in just a second is going to be found on our website. So our website is going to be police.kennesaw.edu. And then I always tell people, if you can't remember, just Google Kennesaw State University Police Department, and it's going to be the first result there, right? So you can obviously call us. We have an emergency and non-emergency line. Our emergency phone number is 470-578-6666. And then our non-emergency is 470-578-6206. I'll say that we also have a text line, and I do not know that number by heart, but it is on our website. That's going to be great for our students if our students are in a situation where maybe they don't feel safe calling, or maybe they don't want the people around them to know for whatever reason that they're calling the police. They can text us, and we will respond that way. You can also access us through email, police@kennesaw.edu, as well as the LiveSafe app. And I know I haven't discussed that because we kind of tend to claim it over here at the police department, but it is a university-wide app and a way that you can contact us. So with Android or iPhone, it's completely free. Just go in your app store and download LiveSafe, LiveSafe. You're going to register with your email and name, and you'll pick Kennesaw State University as your affiliated school. Now, this goes for students and parents. So even if the parents aren't on campus, they can still download it and interact with their students. You can report tips anonymously through there, just like you can with our anonymous tipster line, which is the number's also on our website. And you can message us directly. And, if you want to text us through the app, you can. You can call us through the app. You can also dial 911 through the app. So there's many ways that, if you want to be known as who you are reporting, or if you want to be anonymous, you can do that. You can also, if you have questions, follow up and email. We can put you in the right direction if you're not sure what you need to do.
Yeah, that's great. You guys have so many ways and options, of contacting y'all, really, really to support the student, at the heart of it, making sure that they have all the options that they need. And I love that, there's some things that parents and families can use too, such as Live Safe. So I know that parents and families, they just kind of gave a lot of information via website and phone numbers. We are going to pop those below the video. So no worries, just scroll down and you'll be able to get all that information as well in review. So this question is specifically for the Office of Victim Services. So based on KSUPD's website, OVS is listed under the Department of Public Safety, but in what capacity do you work with the police department? So how do you guys kind of interact?
So we obviously work very closely with the police department, but we are separate. We make sure students understand we are separate entities under the Department of Public Safety. So we normally work with them if the police department is referring someone to us, or if we have someone that wants to file a police report, and then we'll assist them with that process.
Okay, great. That's helpful. I mean, I think it's important to know that, offices work together, but at the end of the day, like, you guys are separate and you kind of have separate functions and needs at the end of the day. So, yeah. So, I know that the police department isn't confidential. How about your office, Charles? Does it work differently regarding confidentiality?
Yeah, so it's very interesting because even when you're talking about, like Kelly was saying, if we're working with a student, we can refer them to Kelly in the Office of Victim Services, but just because a student is working with Kelly in the Office of Victim Services does not mean that we'll ever know who they are, because it is confidential, because some students don't want to report, right? But as far as like privacy in general, I'm going to steal your example that you used a second ago, because it's a great example, and it's one that I have used for a while, something similar. If a parent, let's say a parent calls for a wellness check, like we discussed earlier, I'm concerned about my student, and let's say that some things have been going on that the parent knows about and they want us to know. They can tell us as much as they want. That's what I say. I'm like, you can tell us as much as you want, but we are limited in what we can tell you in return. So, if your student's been struggling with a few things or had some challenges and you think it's important for us to know before we go out and check on them, you can tell us that. Now, when you're talking about what we can relay to you, right? So we have a couple of different situations that come up fairly regularly, right? We have wellness checks. So let's say we do go out and we check on that student and we tell the student to call. That's pretty much where it stops right there, right? We want to make sure that they're okay. As far as relaying information back, we're not going to be able to relay that information back to the parent. We may go out and find the student that they're fine, and hey, you need to call your parents, or you need to call your whoever called. But if the parent calls back and like, can you tell me what was going on with my child? Unfortunately, we can't, because they're adults and they have the legal rights, afforded to them that we all do, right? That right to privacy. If a student, I will say though, if a student is, well, let me pause before I go to the 17-year-old, right, or the dual enrolled. Let's say, for instance, this is never anything we want to have happen, but let's say a student happens to get arrested, and the student is 18 or older. We're also not allowed to give out that information. If the parent knows something happened, like let's say a friend called the parent, a friend of the individual who was arrested called the parent and told them like, hey, your child just got arrested, I don't know what's going on. They're welcome to file an open records request to get a copy of that report if they want to know, because all that information is public if you put in the request. But we're not allowed to disclose that, right? So as far as, when we're talking about, we do have dual enroll students. So when we have those dual enroll students, if something happened, if they are 17 or younger, we will be able to provide that information, because it's like I said, it all comes down to legal obligations for us, and we don't want to violate anybody's rights by disclosing information, private information, because if you get arrested, that's your personal information, right? Or if you have something going on with you, we don't have the right to disclose all that to parents. And I know parents don't like to hear that, but we'll work with you best we can to make sure that your students safe or okay. But because I understand my mom worries, right? But we have to respect everyone, including our students. So
yeah, absolutely. And so I'm curious about the open record. So, what kind of process does that look like, and how long does that take?
So typically, what will happen is we have an individual here who's responsible for, she's our records manager, and she handles all that. So the request comes in. If you send an email or if you come up here and file the request, there's a process that I'm not privileged to, because that is not my lane of responsibility. Yeah. However, just depending upon where things are, obviously if the case has been closed, then, we can get that out, and depending upon the type of case, Some things may have to be redacted, but just depend upon what all is going on around that case and other things that are going on. It could there could be a delay there in getting that back. So it's not going to be instantaneous, right?
Right.
You are going to have to wait till the person who's here gets that information and processes and all that. But I would say business days, Monday through Friday. I'd say probably, if we're being realistic, couple of weeks. So like I said, it's not going to be instantaneous. It does take time because there is a process that they have to, in policy, that they have to follow. But yes, you still can have access to that information.
Yeah, I think that I kind of asked that question because I feel like I wanted parents to kind of have that, for lack of a better term, reality check that, even if something happens, that the departments are going to work with you as best they can, but we are limited, with certain information that we can give. And there is that, open records, but as Charles was saying, it may take a little while. So hopefully, my homework assignment, to families and orientation is to make sure you're having good conversations with your student now, that you guys are on the same page now, because, Lord forbid that anything happens and they, we know students do things and things go awry sometimes, but, having that good conversation prior to your students starting classes of, hey, we want you to, we know that this is a learning laboratory. We know that there are going to be times where we're maybe not aligned on the same page, but let's be aligned as much as we can going into this. So I think those are great explanations about privacy and confidentiality, and really just, they can be tricky matters, but, I'm thankful for y'all's explanations of the why behind these procedures as well. So really, really helpful. So as we wrap, I always like to end with this question. Do you have any final advice that you'd like to give our families, really just how can they best partner with you, maybe now, kind of as, the year progresses? What are great ways that you would see, that families can partner with you best?
Well, we just want all of our parents and students to know that our office is here to support however we can. Again, we are confidential, and a lot of times we find students, they are more comfortable speaking with us, or speaking with us first, as opposed to going to the police. A lot of times they'll, after they speak with us, they're more comfortable going with the police. But, college is an exciting time. We want to just make sure the students, are having a good time, getting their education, but they're also aware and, of the services, and they have access to all the services, because unfortunately things happen, but we want them to know that there is a safe and confidential place for them to come and talk to about what happens.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like I keep stealing your examples, but I'd say, to your point a second ago, Sherry, manage expectations, have a conversation, right? I know I've been guilty of this. My mom would tell you she's been guilty of this, where there was a lapse of communication because we don't always want to talk about the things that could happen or the what ifs, because it's like, oh, that's never going to happen. Well, it may not, but something could happen where those conversations would be beneficial. So, I would say manage expectations, even down to how often you expect your student to check in. Some people don't talk to their families every day. If my mom does not talk to me, hear from me a couple of times a day, she's like, what's going on? What's happening? But we're very close like that. But some parents, they don't talk to their students, but every, couple of weeks. Whatever you need to be okay with, your student being away from you, right? If it's every day, if it's just a text saying, hey, just want to let you know, I'm good, I'm in for the night, I'm going to bed, whatever it is, whatever comes up. If there's a friend that that you both know, that could call the parent if something happened, let them know, like, hey, just make sure, so and so knows what's going on, or where you are, in case something does happen, they can call me. Just have those conversations that aren't always the easiest to have, and know that we are here to help, we are here to educate. We are not here to haul anybody off to jail. Nobody likes doing that. We want to make sure that people are safe and informed, and that is our goal here, and we're always here in any way we can for the students and the parents.
Wonderful. Well, that's great information to wrap with. Is, kind of all goes back to, and I think it's, like I said, parents is at the heart of what Kelly and Charles do, is having, community outreach, conversations, making sure people are aware, making sure that they know, their resources. So if y'all can partner with us and make sure that, and I get it. It's like, okay, they're so excited right now, right? Because it is summer before they start college, or maybe they are already, or maybe you guys are listening and your student didn't quite have the freshman year, the first year that you thought they were going to have because you guys came in last year, but you're listening to this information. So it's a wonderful time to realign. It's a wonderful time to sync up, make sure you guys are on the same page, make sure they know about their resources because, if they know a little bit every day leading up to the start of school, they know about, this, and it's just a totally new environment. Everything's so new and we get it. But if they can learn a little bit through your nudges, that is really going to help us and help them. So we appreciate your partnership in all of this. So I think one more time, y'all, I know you've got a lot of contact information to share, but maybe just review us one more time on all the best ways to get in contact. And we will definitely link all that below, but just run us through it one more time.
Sure. Again, our office is 24/7, so you can reach us by phone or email. Our phone number is 470-578-4257, and our email is ovs@kennesaw.edu, or you can go to our website, which is ovs.kennesaw.edu.
Yep, and same here. We have our 2 numbers, and honestly, call either one, right? As long as you're calling when you need us. So we have our emergency, which is 470-578-6666, and 470-578-6206 is our non-emergency. Again, they're going to go to the same location. As long as you're getting the call in, that's what we care about, right? It doesn't matter if it's a non-emergency on the emergency line. And then we have our website, which is police.kennesaw.edu, and all of our contact info, including our text numbers, on there. As well as our non-emergency, important part there, our non-emergency email, which is police@kennesaw.edu. So with the email, just allow 24 to 72 hours for a response because, again, it is non-emergency. And the big thing I want to push with that is just that if you think you need something, call us. We're never going to get mad or upset that you called us when it wasn't necessarily an emergency or a police matter. We'd rather you call us and us show up and you really not need us than you need us and not call and we not have that opportunity to help.
Absolutely. What a great message. Helpers. That's what they are, y'all. So perfect, families. Well, feel free to comment below this video as well. If a lot of times families, we're not live, right? This is recorded. So you don't get that chance to kind of raise your hand and ask an additional question, but definitely pop that question below and I'll reach out to Kelly and Charles and make sure we get those questions answered for you. So with that, thank you so much for your time, Charles and Kelly. And thank you, parents and families, for entrusting us with your students. And until next time, hooty hoo.